You should really get one of those like privacy things.
So people can't read what I
know.
I don't do anything on my phone.
Seriously,
that, like,
look at my phone right now. What do you see?
black.
Exactly. But then I turn it, and all of a sudden, you see stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
But I don't really have anything to hide.
Well, I don't either, but like it just frustrates my kids to no end.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are you looking at, Dad? None ya.
None of your business.
That's right. Well, hey, do you want to clap really quick? Cool.
I heard an echo.
I'm gonna. Oh, I hear a dripping up in the roof right now.
Yeah, there's a leak. Hello.
Hey guys, man, we have missed you. It has been so long, like almost
really
like
long.
a month.
It has been
since
yep.
we've done one of these because we had our parties, we had all that stuff.
Yep.
We were supposed to meet last week, but Mother Nature.
Yeah, we got snowed on, which is good. I missed the snow.
I did too. It's like the longest time Colorado had gone without snow since the Dust Bowl.
Wow, that's crazy.
At least like the Front Range area.
Yeah, but I missed you guys Wednesday night more than I've missed the snow. So
for me, it's about equal.
Oh, okay, that's
No, I'm
fair.
kidding.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I love
Snow's
this
pretty
stuff.
special.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I get to see a lot of them on a regular basis, like at church, and then when I'm hanging out with them.
Yep.
So, like, even though we haven't been together like this, we've still been together.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
anyways, we are excited to be back. We got a lot of fun stuff going on.
Yeah.
Some things we're going to talk about tonight that we think are pretty dang cool.
Yep.
But a couple announcements before we dive in, and then we're going to do some slices, and then Setson will kind of lead us in what we're doing tonight. So, what is one big announcement you can think of that we need to continue to talk about?
Well, the missions trip we're going on is going to be incredible.
I believe
it's going to be so good.
July 3rd through the 7th?
Something like that. First week of July. I can
there's
confirm
no need.
dates.
They're
if
not
you
going to
can
remember anyways. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to get signed up, you can put down a $50 deposit. We do have a limited amount of spots.
That's right.
That are already getting filled up,
Yep.
which is going to be pretty cool. I'm
Yep.
pumped.
Yep.
We get to be in South Dakota for 4th of July, see some stuff get blown up, I hope.
I hope so
Rushmore.
too. Yeah.
And even if they don't take us, like, I feel like we should just take our group anyways.
just ditch whatever they have planned for us, and
I mean, that is the American thing to
you can
do,
tell
right?
them there's an emergency and it involves all of us, and we need to go.
Statues of our presidents.
Right.
Look, I'm just saying, it is like one of the most patriotic things that you could do to rebel against the oppressors who are over you. I mean,
That's
come on,
right.
that's how our country was birthed.
To go see fireworks by Mount Freshmore. Mount Freshmore.
Mount Freshman. No, there's the thing, though. Like, when you think about what America did back in 1776, we basically told our oppressors, right, those British people,
Yeah.
that we're not playing by the rules anymore, and we're going to
Yep.
do our own thing.
Yep.
And so this is us just reenacting all that stuff that happened back on July 4th when
That's
we
right.
signed that Declaration of Independence.
Sounds good. Let's do
I'm
it.
in.
All right. It's
Just
a plan.
don't tell your, well, I mean, you can tell your parents. Like, it's whatever.
Yeah.
No big deal.
You'll be safe with us.
Cool. Well, I think that's really it. Actually, no. Another announcement is this. We're back.
What? In case you weren't aware.
No, but like this, like
We're-
our house parties, they've been growing.
Oh,
Like you
yeah.
guys have been
Yeah.
bringing friends. We love it.
Yeah.
And so if you're brand new, like welcome.
Yeah.
Our hope is to create a safe place for you guys to belong.
Yep.
To be able to build relationships. Like I already know that we got like 10 new students in the house
Yeah.
parties tonight, which is super
It's
cool.
crazy. Yeah.
But I say that because I want you guys to know, like, these are always open. If you want to bring friends, like that's awesome. If we've got to launch more of these, which we're actually already talking about doing because most of ours are at capacity, we're going to. We feel like every young person, just like you, needs a place to belong,
Yep.
where they're known, where their stories can be shared with people, and where you can laugh and eat and do all this fun stuff. So, be a bringer, right? Like,
Yeah.
bring some friends because you never know how this community might just change somebody's life. So,
Yep.
that is an announcement.
It is.
It's an
It's a
important
good
one.
one. It was a good one.
All right, so we got some slices. If you guys are new, these are just funny, random, interesting things that we think are happening in culture today that kind of make us scratch our heads a little bit. So, Setson, what do you got for your slice today?
So I learned of a tradition that the Queen of England has at her holiday feast.
Is that what she calls it?
Probably a Christmas feast.
Wouldn't she just call it dinner?
No, it's a feast. It's like a legit feast. Like tons of food. kind of
Paid
feast.
for by the British taxpayers.
But here's the thing. So this tradition goes way back. When people enter the castle for the feast, they stand on a scale to weigh themselves.
Okay.
As they enter into the party, and they are weighed once again as they leave the party to make sure that they have been properly fed.
That feels kind of.
This legitimately happens.
That feels like a little shamey.
Yeah,
Like you walk out and it's like you weigh 10 pounds more now.
yeah, yeah. But it was more of like this weird act of hospitality of like, you know, the mom who's like, make sure you have more, eat, eat, eat. It's like scientifically confirming that they had enough to eat in the weirdest way.
Oh, there's so many ways you can go with this. Just, I mean, how much of that's like water or other liquid
that's
drinks?
true. That's true.
I mean, yeah, I wonder what the most weight somebody has gained from a single meal.
You know, if you and I attended the
we would gain
Queen's,
a
like,
lot.
we would definitely have a competition to see who could like eat
So
the most.
one
in
time I
weight.
was in Mexico with my buddy Rory.
Mhm.
We're down there at orphanage doing some work, and
And you ate all their food.
yes, no. There's and what's funny, my buddy Rory, he's like 6'9",
Uh huh.
and so it's just always, he was my intern. And It's
Yeah.
like always fun hanging out
Yeah.
with him. But he is from Colombia,
Okay.
and so he spoke Spanish, and like
Mm-hmm.
he'd been down there a lot before, and so he knew about this like secret taco shop, like in, you know, some little small podunk town.
Oh, cool.
And so we went there, and they serve a thing called a super burrito. It's a burrito, like, so the burrito shells are this big,
Whoa.
and they use two of them. So they lay one here
Oh my gosh.
and one here, and I think it's something like 8 pounds, 9 pounds of meat goes in this thing.
Wow.
We each ate one.
Wow.
That's the thing. It's like, can I
incredible.
eat this thing? And so it's
Yeah.
got like 3 different types of meat in there, all the beans, all the cheese. Like, I felt like death afterwards, especially
Sounds
being in
good.
Mexico, because you're
Yeah.
like, cool, now I'm going to go sleep on a concrete floor for the next like 6
Yeah,
hours.
and then have diarrhea.
Interestingly, no.
Oh, good. All right.
Yeah, it's not like Taco Bell.
That's true.
Yeah.
What's your
It
slice?
always goes back to
It
that.
does.
Yeah.
It always does.
All right, so I got a twofer. So I got 2 I'm bringing. They both involve animals. The first one is like, do you ever see these scientific studies that get put out, and you just wonder like, why would they spend money on that?
Mhm. Yeah.
Like in a world where like kids are starving and where people don't have homes, like there's just some of these things that make me go like, what are they thinking?
Yep.
So in Israel, there's a group of scientists who taught a certain animal how to drive a car.
Okay.
Can you guess which animal that is?
Baboon.
No.
A dog.
No.
What is it?
A goldfish.
What?
They wanted to do this whole experiment to see, can we teach a goldfish to drive a car? And so they like wired up like the tank that this thing was in, like to where when the goldfish swam a certain way, the car would turn a certain way, and when they went to the other, and they'd put treats at this end of at the end of this like course that they were on, so the goldfish knew like, if I can get there, I'm gonna get rewarded.
Wow.
And so they've got a video of it, but like the goldfish straight up would guide the car right to where the treats were so that it could eat them.
Wow.
Super cool, but do you think it's worth the millions of dollars they spent to
No.
do that? It's like,
No.
in what world is a goldfish ever going to need to drive a car? I don't know.
I don't know either.
All right, so slice number 2. This one involves cows. So you know there's a lot of people who are like very eco-friendly and
Yes,
you know,
yep,
they're very anti-waste and all that
yep,
kind of
yep.
stuff. They came up with a great idea to teach cows how to go to the bathroom in a toilet,
Wow.
thinking that that was going to somehow save the environment. Less eco-waste? I don't really know.
Methane, maybe? Less methane?
I don't know. There's a bunch of cows now pooping in a toilet.
Okay. It's like, we did it!
I know. At the end of that, you're like,
Now what do we do?
but what about all the water that you need to use now? Like,
What did we do? What exactly did we do?
so
Very interesting.
science has done 2 remarkable things. They taught a goldfish to drive a car and a cow to poop in a toilet.
Yes. Well,
Although I've seen
science.
videos of cats. People have taught cats how to do that.
that makes sense because, yeah, it's gross. When
Did
go
you
in
know
those.
that like 20 years ago, most babies were potty trained by the age of 18 months?
I did not know that.
Like when we grew up, that's what it was. But then the disposable diaper came out. And these diaper companies convinced parents, like, hey, you know, probably shouldn't fully potty train them until like 4 or 5.
Interesting.
So it was like all a marketing gimmick. Like we've been pre-programmed, or rather like inception, whatever you want to call it, to spend a bunch of money for our kids to poop in their pants.
Oh well.
It's oh well until you have stinking like 5 kids in your house.
Yeah. Whose fault was that?
No. Hey, one of them's a foster. Oh, by the way, we got a new foster kid.
That's really cool.
We love. I can't say her name on air yet.
No, that's okay.
But eventually, I'll let you guys meet her. She's 6th grader, so she'll actually be up in the student ministry this
That's
next year, which is super
really,
cool.
really
She's in the
cool.
loop now. My kids love her. We love her. She's awesome.
That's so cool.
So now I got 6 women I live with.
Yeah.
My wife and then 5 daughters.
Yep. Are either of your cats male?
Both are female.
All right. Crazy. Yeah. Okay, we should move.
We
forward.
should move along. All right. Setson, why don't you talk a little bit about
Yeah.
what we got going on tonight?
Okay, so for those of you who've been around for a while, you know that we talk a lot about how much God loves people who are really vulnerable, people who are most in need of help, people who have like nobody there for them, because God is love. Like the essence of God is love, and love just naturally gravitates towards people who need love the most. And so God's love gravitates towards people who need love the most. And there's like, the Bible just is full of like proof of this. Like Leviticus 19:34, the foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself. And he's talking to the Israelites here. For you were foreigners in Egypt. I am the Lord your God. Jesus said, truly, in Matthew 25:40, Jesus said, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did it for me. Basically saying it's like, however you treat someone who is like the farthest down on their luck, the people who hit rock bottom, the people most in need of help, the people who are most oppressed, I feel personally treated by how you treat them. Like,
Yeah.
in Tiny Tots last weekend, my daughter got bit by another kid. I feel like I got bit because I care about her so much. And God just really, really cares about these people. Like, I think I was thinking about it this way, where it's like, if love is water and all of us are cups, whichever cups are the most empty are the ones that are going to get the most filled by the water. So it's like the people who are most empty of love, those are the ones that God has the most love for,
Yeah.
because there's the most opportunity for love there. So, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I
so
mean,
far?
I think we just even see that like in Jesus' own life and what
Yep.
he did, right? The people that he pursued, it was never the people who had it all together, right? It was,
Yep.
you know, the woman who got caught in the act of adultery who just
Mhm.
felt so broken that she was trying to find love anywhere. Like that's who Jesus pursued. You've got the lame man sitting outside of this pool just yearning to be healed, and well, that's who Jesus went to heal, right? Like he went to the untouchables of society. He went
Right.
to
Yeah.
the unlovables of society, and he said, no, like don't listen to what everybody else has said, that you're not lovable, that you're not worthy of my affection, because I say that you are.
Yep.
And this isn't just like words on a page, right? Like this is something that Jesus himself as God like embodied in the way that he lived his own life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love that word, untouchables, or like outcasts.
Mhm.
Like those are the people that God really cares about. So if we follow God, when we follow God, part of that is learning to love like he does. And part of learning to love like he does is learning to love who he does. And he loves everybody. But again, the thing that we're getting at is like he has this huge heart for the untouchables, for the outcasts, for the vulnerable. If we were to just sit around and believe the correct things together
Mhm.
and never go out and do anything, we would just be totally missing the point.
Well, and this actually reminds me of the conversation we were having earlier today, right? Is Setson and I are talking about like, man, what's the purpose of everything we do here, right? And it's kind of threefold, right? It's really helping you guys wrestle through 3 different questions. Like one, like who am I? Like a question of identity, like as God's child, as somebody who's loved myself. We talk a lot about like what does it mean to belong, right? And so that's why we put so much emphasis on these communities we call house parties, right? And why we try to create so many spaces for you to come and be a part of. But like those 2 things on their own, like they're not enough, right? It's not just enough to know who you are. It's not just enough to know where you belong and who you belong to. There's this other component that I think Stetson's going to start talking about here. And it's like, well, it's this idea of really actually starting to believe that we can make a difference. That
Yes.
we actually have a mission, this thing that we have uniquely been called and equipped to do, right? So it's not just, sit back and receive a bunch of stuff. it's like, well, yeah, do that, but like then go and do something with it.
Right. Yes, for sure. And mission is a really good word for it. Like in John 13, verse 34 and 35, Jesus said, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples or my followers, if you love one another." And then James 1:27 says, "Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this, to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world." So, like, part of following God, a part of following Jesus is learning to love like him in a really active way. So,
Well,
yeah,
and
what do you
I
think?
would almost say that that's the proof of the other thing that's happened within us, right? Like I would even argue, like, man, unless we're doing some of that stuff, like, I don't know that we've actually had the encounter with Jesus that we thought we did.
Sure, could
right?
be.
Because you know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
like James said it. He's like, hey, you could say you do all this stuff, or that you love God and you do like, but if you're not actually doing something to help those who are vulnerable and in need, all that stuff you claim, like he calls it worthless.
Yeah.
And that's not my word. That's James's word. Like that's a really strong thing. And so like the end goal is not that we just go and do stuff.
Sure.
But it's rather like it's the thing that shows this thing that's actually happened inside of us, right? Like I'm trying to think of like a really good analogy. Like, so I think about like my lawn. You know, I can go out there and, you know, put fertilizer on my lawn. I can water my lawn. I can do all that kind of stuff. And I can think to myself, I got a healthy lawn because I watered it. I fertilized it. I did all the stuff I'm supposed to do. But like, if my grass never grows, there's something wrong with my lawn.
Sure.
But if the grass is growing, it's showing like, okay, cool, all that other stuff, like it's actually working and doing what it's supposed to do, because the proof is in the grass that continues to grow and to be thick and green.
Yeah, and I think the secret ingredient between those two things is love. Like when we love a group of people enough, we end up doing something about their situation.
Exactly.
So we want to actually try this out, because again, if all we do is just talk about what we believe and we agree on it and then we go on with our lives but never do anything, we're missing like a significant piece of this. So here's the plan for the next few weeks. Tonight, you and your group, you're going to talk about people that you've seen or people that you know or people that you've heard about that really need a lot of help right now. And there's no shortage of that in the world, and there's no shortage of that here in Greeley. And we want you as a group to see if you can land on one group of people or one situation that you really, really care about. Because again, the secret ingredient is love. If it's just like this obligation type thing, it's not going to be that fun. But if you guys can like learn about or discover a group of people that you're really excited about helping, that's what we're going to do tonight. And we're also going to take some time and like really, and you might need to do some research on your phones, but like figuring out, okay, we really love this group of people. We know that they need help. How do they need help? So you're going to figure out, you're going to research, what do these people actually need? Because a lot of times we see people in a tough spot and we think, oh, this will help, when it's actually the opposite of what they need.
It's like everybody showing up to the food pantry on or the Salvation Army on like Thanksgiving to go serve, and they're like, this isn't helping. We've got like 500 volunteers for the 200 people eating here.
Right, yeah, for sure. It's like, or giving like hundreds of packets to ramen to a food bank. It's like, well,
it is hundreds of packets of ramen to me, though.
It is for sure, but it's like, yeah, this is good, but like we need something that's actually like grows out of the earth. Okay, so next week, what you're going to do as a group is you're going to think through and plan, how could you actually do something for these people? Like literally, what could you do as a group to help these people? So week 2, you're going to figure out the plan for actually helping these people.
And hopefully, like in between tonight and next Wednesday, you guys can do a little research and have some group chats where you can begin to figure some of that stuff out.
Yep. And then week 3, you're going to execute the plan. Whatever you have planned, you're actually going to do it. You're going to do something to help these people. So we're moving beyond just talking about it and actually doing something about it. And for many groups, this might happen on Wednesday night, but if there's something that doesn't happen on Wednesday night, we'll make sure parents know and like everything like that. But it's possible that week 3 could look a little bit different, but it'll be really, really cool. And then week 4, which is going to be student night.
It's our next one.
Yeah,
February.
We're all going to come together, and each house party is going to share who they helped, what they learned about them, and what they did to help them. And that's going to be really cool, hearing all these stories from different groups.
And one thing too with this, like I know sometimes it's really easy to almost like depersonalize some of these groups to be like, well, we're going to help the homeless. It's like, well, okay, but like, which homeless people? Do you know their names? Because they're not an issue. They're actually people, and they've got stories. And so maybe that's even, you know, like, well, a group of us, we're going to go down to 34 and 23, that little interchange right there, and we're actually going to go talk to some of the guys, or maybe head down to like Lincoln Park and get to know like actual people you can help. Because the goal is not just do something, feel good. It's like, no, like let's do something and actually be transformed by it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to keep this video short to give you guys more time to talk about this and figure it out. Your leaders have questions, and
should we give them a few ideas of maybe just jumping off points?
Or
would we rather let them do it?
I want to leave it open. We can give leaders a few ideas in case they get stuck, but
cool.
I don't know. I'm really curious. Like, you guys might be thinking of people that Nathan and I would never even think about, and be like, oh my gosh, why didn't we think of that? So,
and again, like this for us, this is totally experimental.
Yep.
Right. But the hope we have is that you guys would step into it like excited and just really with a dreamer's heart, right? Because truth be told, like when love gets added to the equation, there's no telling what could actually happen.
Yeah.
Right. That there's no real limitations on the amount of good we can do, not only for other people, but the amount of good that could do in our own hearts and lives as well. Like I think about what Jillian and I are doing with our foster daughter.
Yeah.
Like, man, like this is not only changing her story, it's literally changing our story and our family and our kids. And it's like, is it messy? Sure. But like, is it beautiful? Yes. And like, I don't know where this leads, but I'm like, it's good. And I'm grateful for it, but it all began with love. So be open, be dreaming. Like, and like, if you guys need help financially to do some of the stuff you guys want to do, like we're in, right? You know, Stetson's got a lot of money he wants to give to this. You got less kids. They're expensive, right? Less diapers.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, the whole reason why we're throwing this out to all of you is because of how much we believe that you guys can make a difference. I don't know if any adults give you the impression that you're too young to do anything, but man, we don't believe that at all.
Not at all.
So we're really excited to see where this goes.
So having said that, we're going to hand it off to you guys in your house parties. Your leaders are going to lead a discussion, and we'll be back next week with another short video to kind of kick off your time, but good luck dreaming.